Basketball with Bev Smith.
Hey everyone, welcome to Oreogn Basketball with Bev Smith, presented by Mart. And here we are, ready to talk about a couple of games over the weekend. Joe Giansante along with Oregon head coach Bev Smith. Coach, thanks for coming in today. I know you got back late night, and a tough weekend for the Ducks.
It was a tough weekend. It's great to be back in Eugene. It was a weekend where we knew we were going to be challenged both by Stanford and Cal. A little disappointed with just our performance against Stanford, but loved our ability to rebound and get after California and take it to the wire and almost pull out that really desired on-the-road Pac-10 win. But we're close, Joe. We're really close, and given the adversity we faced this last week, I really tip my hat to our young ladies. They are competing. They're putting everything on the line for themselves, for this team, for this program, and that's all you can ask for right now at this point.
I mean, it's amazing all the bad luck. I mean, what's next? The chicken pox? Going through and this is ridiculous. I mean, so many things have happened to this team, and now Jesse Shedder's being down for looks like 8 weeks. That takes you, through at the end of the season. It's unbelievable, and now you lose one of your key players in the middle.
Well, we do, and I think the unfortunate part is most of this season we've been playing a little bit in trying to establish a rhythm and trying to establish an offensive-defensive flow. And, we played for so long without Taylor, 4 weeks, and we really weathered that storm. We had some other people step up. I thought Jess and Eleanor and Jamie Hawkins and Carolyn Gaines were getting in a really good post-rotation. But when Jess went down against USC and not being able to play UCLA, playing about 40 or 50% of her ability against Arizona and Arizona State, now not having her in the middle, it's a real dilemma for us because given this week and having to go down and face Stanford and Cal without having had any time, to try and change things in Jess's absence, it was a real struggle, particularly against the Stanford game. But Cal, we got back at it, and a couple of shots hit, we could have got away with the win.
Let's get out of this with the Stanford game right now. Let's go through it and talk about that game a little bit, Coach, before we move on to the Cal game. And it's a tall order going in there. And as you mentioned, when Jesse gets hurt like that, you don't have any time to really adjust. So Carolyn Gaines really just gets plugged into her spot. And how exactly did Jesse hurt her back? What happened?
It's really difficult to tell, Joe. She hurt it in the USC game, and our doctors are not sure. It's a stress fracture in her lower back, which is very uncommon. They find it in young women who have some eating disorders, which Jessie doesn't have. I can confirm that she eats like a horse, and then in marathon runners. So it's that constant pounding, and she's a big gal. So over time, that probably has hurt it. And against Stanford, we really stayed in the game until 8 minutes left. We were holding them. We kept them to 12 points. I thought our defense was really good despite Jess's absence. Eleanor Haring has really picked it up defensively, which I think on the other end is taken away from her offensive presence. And so Stanford is a tough team. They're going to break out pretty soon. As you see, Sissy Pierce, she solves the riddle to our defense, which we're trying to make them beat us from the outside. And what really hurt us, again, another shot from her, what really hurt us, I think, was just our 19% shooting percentage in the first half. They broke out that lead. We actually won the second half.
He's going off. We're going to look to skip it. Okay? Look to skip it. So we got Elle here. Tamika, you're just going to widen out. Carolyn, you're going to pop. If we can't get it into her, just flash, a little down screen coming out and playing out of it. All right? Be a triple threat. Be aggressive. Let's get first 4 minutes. You got a board. I want everybody in the paint on the boards. Everyone. And tap it. Get it out of bounds. Don't give them nothing. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Go. Let's go.
So, Coach, you come out, and were you happy with the way they responded those 4 minutes? Because they, played pretty much somewhat of an even game in the second half.
Well, we did, and I think, obviously we got some people going offensively. We shot the ball better. We got Eleanor facing up and scoring with her face to the basket rather than trying to back those big girls down. But again, we just couldn't overcome that deficit that we had dug for ourselves in the first half. And against Stanford, playing them at home, they're not going to give anything easy. We switched up defenses, went to zone, wanted them to beat us from the outside. I still thought we had the right game plan defensively, but we just couldn't match their offensive output.
Eleanor Haring here puts together a nice little run, a jumper there, and then off the inbounds play, hits another jumper. She, at this point, she's going to have to do a lot of work inside to make up for Jessie, isn't she?
Well, she is, and I think, Joe, we talked about the adjustments we're going to have to make, and against Stanford and Cal, she really came up big defensively, playing a little bit undersized, both in height and weight, and that's going to take a little bit of her energy away from her offensively. So this week we have some time to make some adjustments with that and trying to get our perimeter back into the paint to help on the defensive boards.
Inside, Carolyn Gaines, nice little crossover move as she lays it up and in. At that point, it was 68-35. She goes inside, gets a rebound, and a putback. All these things are going to pay off for the Ducks down the road, that she's having to get in there and battle, be physical, fight. That's going to help down the stretch.
Well, you know, Carolyn's made a great adjustment this year. We've asked her to get in the paint more. Considering that Jess is out, we need that post present, and I was really happy with her. Her sacrifice of that outside shot, even though she got in the paint, and particularly against Cal, she made some great adjustments, took it at him, and it is going to pay off for us. And I think for Carolyn, it'll be great because it's her senior season, and she's going to leave here with an inside-outside game that she can go forward with in perhaps her professional career.
70-48 was the final score there. Stanford gets the victory, and the Cardinal off and running. They're really matching Arizona State in the Pac-10 conference to see who's going to be the Pac-10 champion. But getting ready for the California Bears. The Ducks get after it against Cal in front of a really big, good crowd at Haas Pavilion. A tough environment, a battle till the end. We'll show that to you coming up next on Oregon Basketball with Bev Smith.
This Oregon Sports program is brought to you by Lithia, Oregon Dodge Dealers, and Albertsons.
Welcome back, everyone, to Oregon Basketball with Bev Smith, presented by Bi-Mart. Here you see Jessie involved there with the girls. She's going to, keep working hard with the young ladies, of course, as much as she can help them off the floor. And Tamika Nurse, she showed much more aggression in the game against Cal, didn't she?
She did. Tamika is a young sophomore point guard that's learning each and every game. I like what she's added to her game this year. Stanford wasn't a strong game for her. I didn't think she had the presence and the pulse of the team that she usually does, and she bounced back after Cal and really got us organized and performing both offensively and defensively. And she's working on that outside game. She was 2 for 2 for three-point land, and that really helps us in our offensive production.
Tamika hit the three, made it 9-5. Oregon had the lead, and then Lauren Grief, the three-pointer. I want to talk just briefly about Cal's momentum right now. This is a team that's been ranked. They're moving up. They're getting big crowds. It's a program that, kind of is like Oregon. They're getting momentum.
Yeah, they are getting momentum, and, they've gone through a little bit of adversity themselves. They obviously had lost their point guard, Alexis Gray-Lawson, actually a month ago, a month and a half, and so now they're finding that rhythm. They've had a chance to play and get through some things and play without her, and you can see their confidence growing a little bit. But I really felt that was one of the things we looked to shatter and get into them early because they are a young team, and I think defensively that was key. We only allowed them 29 points in that first half.
Here's Tamika setting up for the three. It was a three-point game right at that point, Coach, and teams trading three-point shots. It was a little bit of a perimeter game for a while.
Well, we wanted it to be a perimeter game. As you can see, we're triple teaming in the post because it's very important that we tried to make them shoot from the outside, playing the percentages. We kept Hampton and Walker to 13 points apiece. This is a nice little move with two freshmen at the end of the half to keep us within striking distance, but we really had to make them an outside team and just needed to challenge the shooters a little bit more, which we got to in the second half.
Yeah, it's 29-24. California had the lead at halftime. In the second half, they come out and get a big three-pointer right here to extend the lead to 6, 32-26. But you made a nice run right here, a 6-0 run to get back and tie the game. Tamika Nurse doing a great job, and it all starts on the boards.
Yeah, you can see Cicely, she got in there, got a tip. Jamie Hawkins got her hands on it and got it to T, going in with really good balance. One thing she didn't do against Stanford, but really made a complete look around and got that, and that really helped with her offensive production.
Of course, they come back and get back-to-back three-pointers, so a little bit of run here on each side, and those are two big shots in the basketball game for them to re-grab the lead.
Well, that's exactly how we wanted to beat them, but we didn't want Greif getting those three-pointers because she is their shooter, so we had a couple of defensive breakdowns, and, we can't afford to have those, just two, Joe, just two, which is a difference of 6 points, which is, crucial in the game, and that we just have to keep putting pressure on defensively and make sure that we stick to that game plan.
Ducks continue to work it around from the corner here. That's Carolyn Gaines behind the official there for three. It's a three-point game, 46-49. Cal had the lead, and then they get another one, though. Go to the basket, get a couple of points here, a 5-point lead. it was just tough to kind of crack that 4, 5, 6-point area.
Yeah, it certainly was. And again, we got beat on the baseline there and trying to not allow their post players really distracted. They did a good job of adjusting in the first half. They didn't get any perimeter scores. I think here we tried to come back, get to the free throw line. We're doing a little bit of pressing. I thought our team did a really good job of keeping pressure on. We just couldn't get the stops we needed. And, this is what Kayla does best, is really going hard to the hoop, and when we can get those kind of scores, that really helps us.
58-54, Cal with the lead, so it's very much there. And then maybe a little contact there, steps it back out. A big shot there, made it 60-54. Hampton with the shot, and then again she's going to knock down the shot, and they'll make some free throws down the stretch. They had a 62-56 lead there. They win it 65-56 over the Oregon Ducks. A hard-fought game for Oregon, but California is the victor. Now, when Oregon hits the floor again, it's an early Wednesday appearance. It's the Civil War coming up. We'll also talk about the Pac-10 and what's going on around the league as well when we return right here on Oregon Basketball with Bev Smith after this.
This Oregon Sports program is brought to you by Comcast and Chambers Sports. This Oregon Sports program is brought to you by RV Corral and McDonald's.
Welcome back, everyone. Get ready. The Beavers are coming to town. It's a double-dip Civil War, back-to-back. Now, this happened over the course of history in men and women's basketball, but it's it's always a little odd to have back-to-back like a baseball series.
Yeah, well, it is. It's a little bit like rivalry week, and we're looking forward to it. Obviously, the Civil War are always very competitive games. I don't think this year it's going to be any different. Oregon State is doing some really good things. They keep the tempo low, and Casey Nash is having a great year. So obviously we're going to have some things to do defensively and offensively, get after it and see where that will take us. But we're really hoping for a great crowd. It's Wednesday night. It's 7 o'clock. It's get you out of the middle of the week doldrums and come on down to Matt Court, where I know our team is always appreciative of everybody coming out and helping us out.
I'm looking forward to coming too. And we got that other game Sunday in Corvallis. The game is at 5:30, so we will not have a show next week. Coach, thanks for joining us this week. Good luck against the Beavers this week.
Thanks, Joe.
Civil War week, everyone. We'll see you there. Have a good week, everyone. Thanks for watching.